All right. So we are live now for the eighth series, eighth episode of our Health, Finance, and Wellbeing series. And so I will just give it a couple of seconds or maybe a minute so that people can join in live. My apologies that I didn't promote this well enough so that you're well aware that we're going to be having this episode today. But I'm sure if you watch this later, you can always comment or ask your questions, and we'll be willing to answer them when I come round to reading your questions. But just to say today, when we finish, well, towards the end, the last 15 minutes, we'll try to take questions. And if you like, you can call in if you want. I've put the phone number there. But just to know, let you know that we're broadcasting using an OBS. So it's a StreamYard. You would need to give permission before you can ask questions. Otherwise, you can still ask questions, but we wouldn't see it live. We will see it after the live broadcast. But yeah, if you want us to be able to see your questions live, please just put them there and give the permission now. So yeah, it's Saturday, the 29th of October, 2022. And yeah, time is flying. So yeah, I think we're gonna start now and people will watch us later. So yes, welcome. If you're joining us for the very first time, my name is Fumi Ajayobe. I am a nutrition and lifestyle improvement coach. I help people address the root cause of their weight loss and help them on a path that will help them maintain and sustain a healthy weight. I particularly help Africans because I know these are my people. I want to see us thrive and flourish and excel in all that we do. And so I am really so excited to help you. But I don't help just Africans. I can help anyone, African, Asians, whatever, because at the end of the day, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats are the same, whether you're Asian, you're African, you're English, wherever you are from. So, anyway, thank you for joining us today. And I've got a very, very, very important guest with me today. Her name is Sarah, and she is the founder of Eat to Heal. She is a secondary school teacher for 14 years, and she's a mom of two lovely boys, and she's a wife. She's been on a personal health journey and wellness as well. She got pregnant with her first son after PCOS, and which led to one of her ovaries being removed. And it was only about 4 years ago after she lost her mom, of having diabetes, high blood pressure, and finally stroke. And she just thought, you know what, she's on the same path as her mom. We know genetically, when you have a parent with a health condition, you're more likely to have it. So you can also prevent it by healthier lifestyle. So she got sick and tired of constantly feeling tired, depressed, in pain, bloated, with chronic constipation, arthritis. I mean, who wants to live their life with all of those? And she's tried all sorts of things, keto, other lifestyle changes. And then she's thinking she succeeded, thanking her hormones. She lost her hair, became even more depressed when the fatigue continued with constant back pain. I have back pain actually. I must have mentioned this before. Which I've had mine is as a result of my disc, and I've had that for years, and I'm kind of maintaining it, managing it, I'd say. So anyway, she now found a strategy that worked for her, and she's since been helping people through her WhatsApp group, coaching people to help them live healthier lifestyles. She'll be talking more about herself, about what she does, and all about that in a moment. But I just wanted you to have a background about her and what she does. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So, I mean, that's a full mouth. I mean, that is a lot about you. And I'm sure people would want to know much more about that. But I know we will get into that in a moment. But maybe tell us a little bit about you, your background. I mean, I know I've read that that's why you went into it, but why really did you go into it, and why was it at the time? Did you say 4 years ago was when you started?
I I would say since 2016,
Okay.
and I was searching. Searching is a right way to put it, because when you see me, you see a slim person, but I'm a slim person with a bloated stomach under my clothes, and I constantly looked pregnant when really I wasn't. This was even long before I had children. And then, and I watch my work colleagues come back from maternity leave. They're looking even leaner than they were before they went on maternity leave. I'm like, what is going on? And then this constant pain. Oh God, the pain, this back pain. I was tired. I'll go to the doctors. They would say, eat less. Look at me now. They will tell me to eat less and move more. Where are we eating less and moving more to? You
Hmm.
know, and everything they told me to do or asked me to eat more vegetables, these things don't really work if it's not done a certain way. It's not as easy as just eating less and moving more. There is more to it. And until you get it right, nothing is going to change. And this is why so many people would exercise for so long and they will get no result. I did that. I did all those, all those Shanti. There's this man they used to call Shanti
Oh
ages ago.
yes, you've
That
been
man
doing
might be the
that.
reason why my knee is also giving way. That exercise, I did it and I got my stomach was still sitting there looking at me.
Hmm.
So all of this until you go through pain. When you go through pain and you see that no one is coming to help you,
Hmm.
like we have the NHS here, but
Yep.
remember there's a waiting list as well. And the
Absolutely.
doctors can only get to you when they can get to you. During the time you're waiting, your disease is progressing. And you
Hmm.
can't hold anybody accountable for it.
No.
We all need to learn to be our own health advocate. Yes, we're going to get sick as we get older. Yes, we're going to die, but we would know at least we did our best to keep
Hmm.
us fit for as long as possible. And for us to also learn how to gradually age backwards instead of helping this disease progress, you
Hmm.
know? So yeah, that's where I am coming from.
Hmm. So from your from the sensation, because you have a mom who, did you say, so just expatiate a bit about that background of what exactly led you into it. You said your mom had some
Okay.
conditions. So why,
Yes.
what was her, if you expatiate a bit more about what exactly, and then why exactly, because not everybody whose parents has condition is living healthier lifestyle.
Diabetes. Yeah,
So for
that's
you
true.
particularly, why, what
Yes.
motivated you?
So that bloated stomach and constipation made me a searcher. I
Hmm.
began to research. I fell into ketogenic lifestyle.
Hmm.
Did that for a bit. It really did help. But I then started to lose my hair.
Hmm.
I started to experience anxiety. I
Hmm.
started having, this is because ketogenic lifestyle is a therapy. And
Hmm.
for us women, we must cycle in and out of it depending on what side of our cycle we're in. It's not something that we want to carry on doing long term. We're not like men. Your hormones will tank.
Absolutely.
You both, in fact, at a stage, you start to think it's the ketogenic lifestyle. No, it's not. It's because we are women and we have reproductive organs that
Mhm.
need to be put into consideration when we
Mhm.
do a lifestyle like keto. It's not
Mhm.
something you want to stay on long term. You have
Mhm.
to cycle in and out. So, back to your question. So, I did that for a bit. Whilst I was doing it, my mom had a stroke and finally passed away from it.
Mm.
I watched her go through all of these things I've mentioned: losing her hair, being bloated, very bloated, being
Mm.
bloated, what's it called? Arthritis, loss of vision. She even came over here to get some treatment for it. And then fatigue, always being tired.
Mm.
Diabetes, we all know, makes you urinate. In fact, you can't even control it, right?
Mm.
Some people can't even go out because they are worried that they're going to wet themselves. That is
Mm.
how bad that diabetes can get. So I watched her go through all of these things whilst I was doing the ketogenic lifestyle, and then she passes away. Now, we all know what grief does to one. That broke me into several pieces, and the process of doing her funeral and all of that, I was emotionally shattered. And one day, not very long ago, as I was going up, oh no, I noticed that every year from that time, after my mom passed, if I try lifting something, I would experience pain to the point where I'm not able to move for at least 24 hours or more. Now, this is me with a slim body, right? So we understand that this has nothing to do with whether you're slim, you're fat. If you do not look after your body, if you do not nourish your body, if you do not take care of your body, it wouldn't ask you what size you are. Once it has received enough insult, it will come back and punish you for all the punishment you put it through. So this is when that happened a couple of times, I knew that I had to double up on whatever it was I was doing, because I started to worry that maybe I might be running out of time. Okay. And we know that once you stop moving, that's your health just goes downhill from then onward. Now look at me. I have young children who are still depending. They're still very young kids. I cannot afford to be bedbound. And so I started to change. I started to read. I started to listen to people. I started to speak. I think one of the ways I actually helped myself was helping other people. Through speaking about my pain, I got relief from that somehow, emotional relief from the encouragement, from people relating to what I was going through. Some of them would not want to write it on my page. They will come inbox and talk to me. I felt really, really glad that even for me, speaking out was also helping other people. So I got to the point where I started changing things, the way we eat, the way we Africans eat.
Tell them.
What
Tell
is
us.
causing our problem? Our food probably is the most organic it can be. However, the way and manner we cook it is what is killing us. The amount that we eat, and we eat so much because of the craving that we develop. It's not us that is making us eat. It's the bacteria in our stomach, the kind of bacteria that we've built in our stomach that enjoys that kind of food are the things that are pushing you. They'll be calling you at night. Fumi, Fumi, that cake is still there. Oh. The chocolate. What about the pounded yam, the amala? Ah, that ewedu will be sweet with that soup. Oh, that that igbi, that
Also,
chicken. Ah, you
oríṣiríṣi.
yeah. So rishi. You think about that roundabout. You go and you pack it. You eat it. Ah, those bacteria will keep growing. They grow to the point where you see people, their stomach is bigger than their body itself. This is what happens when you have small intestinal bacteria overgrowth by eating the wrong kind of thing. So, yes, that is what led me to where I am. My pain, the fear of deteriorating in health led me and pushed me to find strategies that work. Now, I know it works because I have tried it on other people. And if you read some of the reviews on my page, you would see that there is something you can do. It's never too late. Even if you're on metformin or diabetic, what's it called, cholesterol medication, statin and all, you can help yourself by changing your lifestyle. There are four things, and I'll come to that when you're ready to ask me about that.
Okay. So I'm just writing things. I've got like 100 questions in my head. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, maybe we're going to have part two of this. By the looks of this, we're going to go part two of this maybe next. So four things to tell us about. Sorry, you have four things to tell us about. So I need to ask you later, so I don't forget
Okay.
about how to take care of our health. Yeah. Okay. So that is so interesting because honestly, number one, you mentioned the thing about small size. Some people think I'm slim, I don't need to look after anything because, and then some people genetically, because they can eat the whole food, it would not show on their body. They will eat sugar, they will eat everything. You don't see them, and they call
You
them
see, those people might have fatty liver disease. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. They call them Sophie, slim on the outside, fat on the
Not on
inside.
the inside.
Because the
Yes.
inside, the organs, everything, and because the whole the fats are covering all the organs, and then the struggle, and that's all sometimes it's causing all the fatigue, the tiredness. People are struggling; they're just feeling they're not really great, and they are thinking, "But I'm fit." And fitness is not about the what you see on the outside, not necessarily about the size. Because some
No.
people are actually a bit chubby, but they're actually physically active. They're well. They're okay. And so people should realize that. And you also mentioned about keto earlier, because a lot of people just say, oh, keto, 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 just to lose weight. And they keep piling the fat, piling the fat, piling the fat on their organs and everything. They might lose the weight, but the fat is still doing this fatty, whatever, inside. And also, keto was originally designed for, people with epilepsy. And so it's a treatment for a condition. So it's not every human being that has the condition. So if you don't have a condition and you're using treatment, it's like you don't have headache and you're just using paracetamol every day, just in case I have headache. You use
Yeah.
paracetamol in the morning, afternoon, evening, and you use it every day for 1 month, 1 year. What do you think will happen? Or using antibiotics. You don't have any illness. You're using antibiotics constantly. After a while, your body will be resistant. When you really need it to use it, it's not going to work. And in fact, now the government are talking for people to reduce their consumption. Don't just any small thing antibiotics. I mean, in Africa, people are so easily because it's all over the counter.
Do
People
you know
abuse
why?
medication.
It's because it's because healthcare is so expensive that people can't access it, and so they self-medicate. Now,
Hmm.
antibiotic, the worst thing you can do is take antibiotics when what is wrong with you does not need it. Your
Hmm.
microbiome takes ages to build. These are your ammunition to diseases. These are your weapons to fight disease, and you're wiping the good ones out by drinking antibiotic for no good reason, for cold, for things like malaria. You don't need to take antibiotics. It
No.
takes so long to build, and this is why people are sick. Do you know
Yeah.
why? Because they don't have the right bacteria in their stomach, in their gut. Once
Absolutely.
you get the right bacteria in your stomach, your skin, your hair, your nail, your
Mm-hmm.
bones will be stronger. Your
Hmm.
bone will be stronger for it. So,
Absolutely.
yes, I always speak against antibiotics. People just reach out for it because they can order it over. They can. Do you know what has to happen to you in this country, in the UK, before a doctor will prescribe antibiotics for you? You have to
Exactly.
be dying.
Exactly.
When I first came here, and I don't know what I went to complain about. I'm like, why are these people so stingy with antibiotics?
I did that as well.
It's now that I understand it.
Absolutely. I was on holiday with my youngest son at the time, long time before we began to live here. And then, he was not feeling well. And my husband's immediate brother is a GP. His wife is a
Oh,
consultant.
okay.
She's a
Okay.
consultant pediatrician. I was
Oh,
in the house. I have my 1 year old, I think at the time he was, or
okay.
1.5, whatever. He wasn't two. And he was having temperature. He was over there. And then they just said, oh, Calpol. I'm like, okay, Calpol is like paracetamol. I'm thinking, oh, maybe antibiotic. I was expecting that. No, 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 no. And I'm thinking, I'm in the house of two specialists. And they're not even,
No.
I got back to Nigeria. The family friend we stayed in Lagos, there are doctors as well. I mean, we're surrounded by doctors. He has
Mhm.
a hospital, and that's where we actually stayed before we went to the city where we were in Ibadan. I told him, no, 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 just give me
Antibiotic.
antibiotics. I said, thank you. I said, this UK doctor, they don't. Now, like you, I
Mhm.
know that is not really the right approach, and we
No.
need to look after our health and don't
Yes.
self-medicate without really being diagnosed of a particular issue.
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
people, you see
Yes.
them, they hear anything they buy is they go to Holland and buy it. They just buy everything, buy, 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 buy. Start using this, start using that. You need information, you need education, you need to be enlightened. Don't just because again, when you're just putting so much medication in your body, the liver, the organs are the ones that are going to be processing it. You don't
That's
want
true.
to overwork, and when they
That's
overwork and then they fail, that's why we have so many liver
yes.
failure, kidney failure. It's all over social
Yeah.
media. All these things they are selling on the streets, especially for our African people. They're just bringing
Oh.
agbo, this is this. There is no measurements. There is no how many times to use it. They'll just tell you these people are not doctors. They're,
You know that we love easy things.
Hmm,
We like easy way out.
hmm,
And unfortunately, if you have abused your body for years,
hmm,
no amount of agbo,
hmm,
no amount of organic tea,
hmm,
no, I know people who have done it. I personally used to sell those things
hmm,
ages ago. I used to be a member of a company called TLC ages ago.
hmm,
That didn't help me.
hmm.
It did not help me. That fat sat there in my stomach. Like,
Of
you have
course.
to do an overhaul of your health and lifestyle. They
Hmm,
all work hand in hand. Food alone does not work. Sleep
hmm.
alone does not work.
No, it's a
Okay?
holistic approach.
Exercise alone. Yes,
You
all of
need
these things hold hands because they need each other to work for your body. No
hmm,
matter, I always advise against strenuous exercise.
hmm,
You're just going to do more damage, and your body is going to feel stressed and hold on to that fat.
hmm.
You won't go anywhere. And you'll
Absolutely.
get frustrated. It's not this exercise, it is the way that you're doing it. Yes, we need to move. Yes, we need to exercise, but there's an exercise that is right for your body and your age as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. Because a lot of people now, I mean, you mentioned this. I'm just thinking, you might as well ask you this question. So, what do you think about people who are buying, on social media? There's so many medications. Buy this tea, buy this, whatever, combine this with this, or you will lose like 15 kg in 3 days. In da 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 da. Da. What do you think? And what advice? What will you tell people
Do you
about
know, I don't discourage people from doing it. I let them. In time, they will come to see that it's a waste of money.
it?
Like, the food you eat is enough to heal you. The
Hmm,
food you eat, the
hmm,
food you consume, how
hmm,
you cook it, how you eat it, when you eat it,
and your
and
portion.
how much of it you eat
Hmm,
is all you need.
hmm,
Like, even if you're going to take food supplement, that would be an additional thing. But I always advise that your food is your medicine. Your
hmm,
food is your medicine.
hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So, who are the kind of people that you? Oh, sorry. Before I even get to the kind of people that you walk to, um, let me just say, um, why do people need to even take responsibility for their health? Very
Okay. Hmm.
straightforward. Why should they? Because there's the doctors. We have GP in the UK. You just go, okay, what's wrong? Give me medication and use. So why should I be stressing myself about
Okay.
using this, drinking that, looking after? Don't do this, don't do that. When I can just go to my GP and just get medication. So why should people take responsibility for their health?
Like I said earlier, there's only so much your doctor can do for you. Your doctor has a family, your doctor earns a living from looking after you. Once they finish looking after you, they have a shift. They have to go home, whether you're dying or not. Your doctor needs to go home, and your doctor has a time frame he spends with you.
Hmm,
Now, you cannot afford, this is us in the UK speaking, right? Now,
hmm,
let's talk about people back home. How many people can afford the cost of medical care back home? Look at how expensive things are getting, food
yeah.
and everything. And then you're going to add medical care to it. How many people can afford it? The reason why people need to advocate for their health is because they need to. It's not, you don't have a choice. You have to, because when it all goes down, it is you and your family.
Hmm,
And when that thing happens, you may never get a second chance. I saw
hmm,
myself heading towards that area. I went
hmm,
down this up the stairs. I don't know if I explained this. I went up the stairs the second time I had this issue of bone structures thing. I went up the stairs and I couldn't come down. And that's
hmm,
how I sat on the bed for at least 48 hours. I had a wedding to attend the next day, right? I
hmm.
ended up going to that wedding with a stick, yeah,
Wow.
in crutches. This is somebody who was all right 2 days before. I went in with crutches because that friend means so much to me. I had to be
Hmm,
at that wedding, even if I was crawling. Now,
hmm,
it was at that point I knew that whatever it was I was doing, I needed to do more. I needed
hmm,
to do more, otherwise, I was going to be in a wheelchair. Remember, I'd suffered back pain for years. I'm talking close to 10 years, I'd suffered back pain. So it
hmm,
may be that my bone was getting tired and weaker. And when that happens, this is how people, you see somebody who looks fit having a stroke. You see
Yeah.
them having mobility issue to the point where they now need a stick to walk or they're on a wheelchair. It was
Hmm.
at that point I knew my story tells me why I need to work on myself. I know these
Hmm.
doctors would only, what can they do? They can give me medication, send me to A&E, send me to hospital. Who's that going to be hurting? Me and my family. So
Hmm.
yes, I have to do it. You all have to do it. You have to do it for yourself, for the people you love, because you guys are the only ones who are going to suffer. Not the doctor, not the person who's meant to be looking after you. It was your responsibility in the first place to look after yourself so you don't get to that point where you're now seeking help and not getting enough because it's too late. It is too late. I may have come down that stairs and never stood up again in my life again. That could have happened to me. And you say, oh, that's Sarah that used to be slim. How could she have gotten? Yes, it does happen. It
Hmm.
does happen. No matter how well we look after ourselves, some people will still suffer some health challenges because
Hmm.
of their gene and because of what they have done over the years. I'm 44. So imagine what I've done in the last 30 years from the time when I was born to the time when I realized that I needed to do something. We're talking 6 years ago. So
Hmm.
we have to consider the impact of the years before I got
Yeah.
to become more self aware. So, yeah.
Hmm. Absolutely. So basically, when is the right time to start? When is the right
Now,
time?
now is the right time to start. Start by trying to set yourself. I don't know if you want me to talk about that yet. Start
Yes.
now to, first of all, my greatest enemy. Do you know my greatest enemy? I'm going
Hmm.
to share my greatest enemy with you.
Tell us.
My greatest enemy is vegetable oil. Vegetable oil. If you still
Wow.
have that in your house, you're not my friend.
Hmm.
If you're listening to me today and you still have vegetable oil, I'm talking about sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, rapeseed oil, please get rid of those. These oils are over processed to the point where when you ingest them, it causes, there's no vegetable in this oil. It
Hmm.
causes nothing but havoc. They are unstable. They
Hmm.
make you constantly hungry.
Hmm.
Okay? They drive metabolic chaos in your body. You don't want it anywhere around you. Get yourself our natural palm oil if you have access to it. And make sure if you're abroad that you're looking for ones that are not adulterated because they normally add some vegetable oil in some of them.
Of
If you
course.
shake it in the winter, it shouldn't be shaking. It should be clogged. It should be like real palm oil. And also, those of you who use olive oil to cook our stew and you fry it, you stir it, you cook it, you're destroying the nutrients. And first of all, make sure that olive oil is real olive oil. It needs to come in a dark bottle. It needs to be consumed within 6 months after it was produced. It needs to be certified. So you're looking for all these things, and by the time you find one that meets all these criteria, is very expensive. And you also do not want to fry it the way we fry. Please
I was
don't use
going
it to
to say
fry
the
dough.
temperature is not stable at that high heat level.
Oh, you destroy it and you waste the nutrients in it. Olive oil should be drizzled. Another oil you can use is cold pressed coconut oil if you can source a good one. Okay, so oils are my greatest enemy. Vegetable oil are my greatest enemy. I got rid of those, I don't know how many years ago, but it's one thing that has no place in our home, and I don't want it to have a place in your own homes too.
Just to say caveat though, because people listening now might go and buy this oil and then they will cook, and then oil will be, you know how we cook in Africa, and all the oil will be sinking and sleeping and dancing and whatever. For me personally, actually, I actually stopped that the palm oil for that reason, because it's just too much of whatever. So when I cook now, I mean, I barely cook with much oil anyway. In fact, I try not to even use oil if possible, because a lot of the food has oil. You're eating your chicken, you're eating your whatever, there's fat in all of this. You're eating your mackerel, they have oil that comes with them naturally. So you don't really necessarily need to be putting too much oil. So when you're using the oil, as Sarah had said, caveat, don't go and now be putting oil and all your food will be sinking and you're trying to look for the food. Just a little bit of oil is what you need. Whatever
Yeah,
oil is, just a little bit, because again, fat has the highest calorie in terms of all the macronutrients, in terms of fats, proteins, and carbs. And so the more you have, the more calories which you don't need, because at the end of the day, you're just eating, consuming unnecessary calories. So it's quite
Yeah.
important for you
Yeah.
to do that. And yeah, absolutely, I totally agree with you. Now is the time to begin to take action. Don't wait anymore, because wherever you start, just start from there, and people can begin to take charge of their health. um I don't know whether to ask you at this point in time. I'm going to ask about the steps that they can take, but I don't know whether I should ask you first to talk about the four things that you wanted to talk to us about earlier on.
Okay, so people would assume because I'm Eat to Heal, my favorite one is going to be food. I'm here to disappoint you all. It isn't. For me, the major lifestyle change is managing stress. And how do you manage stress? You manage stress with your sleep hygiene. What did I say?
Hmm.
Sleep hygiene. If you don't sleep well, you will not
Oh, there
detox
are so many.
well, your
Hmm.
blood sugar will be high, and the next morning you'll be tired, you eat unhealthy food, and the cycle continues like that until you become diabetic, until
Hmm.
you become insulin resistant.
Hmm.
Now, the reason why I say stress management is the major thing, it's like in the center of everything. And then you have food, sleep, and exercise. These three things help you manage stress.
Hmm.
Okay? If you sleep well, you eat right, you have the energy to move. I love to call exercise movement because exercise has a bad rep as a word. I
Hmm.
call it movement because anything you do is movement, and it contributes to your mental health, and it contributes to your metabolic health as well, the way your body breaks down food. So,
Hmm.
yes, these are my three pillars. It looks like four, but there are three that helps you manage that stress in the middle. And we can't avoid stress. We all go through stress.
Hmm.
There is no way we can't run away from stress as long as we're human. And therefore, we have to find ways of managing it. And those three things are the ways you can manage stress better.
Hmm. Sleep, eat, and move.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes.
honestly, people don't understand. You know what? I mean, my husband isn't here now, but he said to me he never forgets. Every time there was a time I did I think a live show about sleep, and I said, "Sleep. Hmm. You don't know until you don't have it, because that's when the body is being repaired. That's when,
Yes.
during the day you're moving around, you're doing this and that. That's when the garage is open for MOT for the body,
Yes.
because
Yes.
at that
Yes.
point in time, okay, you've done this to your body, you've done it. Okay, they're now they're cleaning the floor, the pumping machine is pumping, they're greasing, they're doing the wheels, and they're doing everything, and it helps calm down so that when you wake up in the morning, you're refreshed to
Yes.
for the day.
Yes.
But if the sleep is not, and I like you, I mean, honestly, maybe I need to say this anyway for you, those of you watching. When I chose this time for Sarah, she said no. Her sleep time is 8 o'clock. And I'm like, hey, who sleeps at 8? I don't know. And you're not the only one. I think, who was I speaking to? I think I had another guest at well. She said her sleeping time is 8. Even me for 10 o'clock now, I'm thinking, you know what, I need to reduce my sleeping time. I mean, and I know sometimes because of menopause, for me, sometimes I just struggle. But then I realized that even the menopause, I've been saying this, menopause or heat flush, hot flush, all these different symptoms. I realized that when I started to really look after my sleep, because sometimes, because all these things,
Yeah.
you let go, you just you just like, and I think, hang on a minute, I need to do what I'm preaching. And I began to really monitor. I'm like, you know what? If I feel sleeping at 6 o'clock, I will just go to bed. I'm not going to say, oh, whatever. And if I sleep by 8 or 9 hours, then that's fine. It doesn't matter if I wake up at 3 or 4. It's okay. I've had my day. It means I'm waking up ahead of the family or everybody else. I can do things. I can plan. I can focus. I can meditate. I
You
can
can read, you can read, you
exactly.
can have peace. You can have peace within yourself.
Hmm.
See, if like I say, everybody doesn't have to go through pain to learn these things. If only people will learn from other people's pain, they might actually save themselves the pain, because
Hmm.
have the you might not be lucky enough to tell
Hmm.
the story.
Hmm.
So when people talk about things like this with passion, I
Hmm.
hope that somebody out there is listening and is going to make a lifestyle change because of what we're talking about. Because if I heard somebody talk about what I'm talking about
Hmm.
5 years ago, 10
Hmm.
years ago, I may have been better for it. And
Hmm.
this is why I'm not going to stop speaking, because our people need to hear this message. When you
Hmm.
talk about sleep, people are like, oh, I can function with 4 hours of sleep. They do not know that they are reducing their brain cells. You're going to have Alzheimer's down the line. You're
Mhm.
going to have dementia down the line.
Hmm.
It's not just food. It's not all about food. Yes, food is important. If
Hmm.
you're not sleeping to help your body get rid of the things that it doesn't want
Hmm.
and repair your cells, this is the what I'm talking about is the secret to aging.
Hmm.
You do if you struggle to get out of bed in the morning, you have a problem.
Mhm.
You should be leaping out of bed in the morning. Why? Because you've had enough rest and your
Hmm.
body is ready and set to go.
Hmm.
They say that it's not really what time you go to bed that matters. It is what time you wake up.
Hmm.
You have to wake up at the same time every day if your body clock is working well. There's something called the circadian rhythm. Your
Mhm.
body works like a clock. And
Mhm.
that clock, the way you know it's working well is that your body wakes you up, not with an alarm, at the
Mhm.
same time every day. I've never had an alarm in my life.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely.
Never.
Absolutely. Absolutely, which is really key. Um,
Yes.
it's quite important. I mean, I have an alarm, but I wake up before the alarm. So if I don't even know why I have the alarm anyway, I might as well just not have it. I mean, for so many years I didn't even have it, and then I have now alarm for everything, so that I just want to be organized. I have this that
Yeah.
reminds me, blah blah blah, but then including the sleep time and wake up time and everything else. But it's quite really good that one has to sleep at the right time, eat
Yep.
at the right time. We need to be organized. We need to be organized because people don't take their personal life as important. I hate to see people go fund me, liver, kidney, this, oh, somebody this happened, and I'm thinking, oh, why is it all the time?
I
People should.
know.
I mean, I
Do
know
you
now,
think?
okay, people are dropping in and out on our program now. Maybe I don't know how many people have seen. Some people will go back. Some people are at work, like Cynthia said, so she probably go. But people are not going to be here because they just think, oh, they're talking health. But you go
Yeah.
on all rubbish wherever program, people are there. So yeah, yeah, yeah. But this has to do with you. It's only when you are healthy that you can do the things you want to do. If you're not healthy, how can you thrive? How can you be successful? How can you run a business? How can
You
you
can't.
successfully run your family? You'll
Y-
just be stressed and shouting and doing all those things. A lot of it is because of lack of stress. Sorry, lack
Yes.
of sleep, too much stress.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So it's quite important that we need to begin to look after ourselves, take responsibility for our health, for our life, and begin to take the necessary action. Thank you so much, Cynthia, for joining. I don't know whether it's Cynthia that is still there now. She said she's at work. She's joining in intermittently. So listening to your, oh, she said also listening to your body and being conscious of what you eat is important. She mentioned about this earlier when we first started. I forgot to click on the comments so that we can see. Hope you can see the comments from your end.
I
Um,
can't.
oh, you can't.
No.
Oh,
Is
okay.
it on the side that says private chat?
There's private chat. Then there's that comments as well at the
No,
top.
I can't see anything.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe I don't know what you are seeing. I can see private chats. I can see brand banners, comments. Oh, okay. Anyway, but I'll be reading the comments as I see them.
It's
So she
okay.
said she's listening to your body, and then she said watching from home, very interesting and informative. And oh, she says, thanks, ladies. Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, so hey, Cynthia. Yeah, thank you so much for joining. If you have questions, please drop it there so we can answer them. And I mean, if you want to call in and just chip in your ideas, Cynthia is a nurse actually.
Oh,
And
is she? Okay.
yes. So, and yeah, we'll be happy for you to drop in your contributions as well towards the end. So yeah, it's quite important. Now people would not, like I said earlier, people are on all these shows that are not really benefiting, maybe just for entertainment. Okay, entertainment is good. We need to be laughing, it's part of all.
It's very important too.
It is
Yes.
very, very important. But then also we need to learn strategies, we need knowledge, we need information on how to form a healthier lifestyle and to improve our health so that we cannot, we don't want to just live for living sake. There's no point of you
No.
living long in bad health, you're struggling. What's the benefits? But if you live long and in good health, then it's better than live long and then they're feeding you, putting tube here, to doing this here. It's just of not is not right. So you've
We
told
do
us that.
know we do know that lots of people who looked fit died of COVID, right? That
Hmm,
in itself is a lesson. There are so
hmm,
many people who looked well and fit, and on top of and they passed away. They
hmm,
passed away. They passed away because the body does not have all it needs to fight that virus. It
hmm,
doesn't.
hmm. And we don't need to wait until the virus comes before we begin to look after our health. Like you said, we need to start now. Start to do those things that are necessary. Start to eat well, exercise, the timing, the kind of food we eat, and all those things. We need to start to do them now so that whatever comes, and this is what I say to people. I actually had the video I did around COVID time. I said, you know what? To start to do, because there's going to be another one after COVID. I'm not a prophet of doom,
Right?
but COVID is not the one. There was a time we had
There's always something.
something is going to come again. And are you going to now start running helter skelter at the time? You need to empower your body now so that
Yes.
when the whatever comes, you're
You're
well
ready.
equipped. Like
You're ready.
the Christian, like the virgins, the 10 virgins, five with the lamp oil and the five without the oil. The ones were ready for the bridegroom to arrive. They kind of put their extra oil. The ones that were not ready, they just brought their lamp. And then when the oil finished, bridegroom came, there was no oil left. So as
Yes.
individuals, we should be well equipped. We should empower ourselves with knowledge, with wisdom, with information. And not
Mm-hmm.
just that, but we have to do it. So
Yeah.
action is key because there's no point you learning and knowing things without action. Because that's why
Yes.
it's so many health professionals, they know these things, but they're not putting it into practice themselves, and so they're not healthy. They just they say do. Some people say do what I say, not what I do. That's not true. Really, you should say do what I do, so that you should be an example, an advocate for people to follow.
Yes.
What do you call it? I was going to say celebrity, not a celebrity. What's the word that people use? A mentor or whatever for other people, so that they can
Yes.
do the right thing.
Yes.
And so I know you do all these things. How can people stay motivated? Because again, there will be times when people will be like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." Some people may say, "Oh, I'm tired of all this, okay, broccoli or whatever, eating this." How can you stay motivated when you start? Because everybody, when they start something new, they're kind of on fire and everything. Then how do you stay motivated to that when you not when you've started and you've done it for a few weeks and whatever? How can people get
You
motivated to?
you 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 get motivated by how different you feel. You
Hmm,
get motivated because you see that you now feel better than how you used to feel before. I don't know anything that can keep me awake after 8 o'clock. That thing has to be very important.
hmm,
I,
hmm,
I see sleep for me as my way of showing myself love. And
hmm,
because I do it, my children do it. My children go to bed, like they tell me they're going to bed at 8.
hmm,
I don't have to struggle with bedtime. That is because I've made it a priority for myself. And so
hmm,
they follow suit. And they also probably feel good in the morning when they wake up. So I don't
hmm,
need to tell them. They feel tired at that time because throughout the day they're active, they're playing football, they love to play football. So if you keep yourself active during the day, your body would naturally fall asleep. It should naturally fall asleep at night. It
hmm,
should. It should be effortless. In fact, you should be tired enough to say, I'm going to lie down.
hmm,
So you stay motivated by how good you feel, and it depends on who's guiding you. Sometimes we really need to get somebody who is well informed in some of these things to speak to you, to help you see why this thing is important for you. Because as soon as you start implementing them, I mean, I always advise people to take baby steps. Once you
hmm,
start seeing how good you feel, oh, that mentor, that coach the person's job is done because you're reaping the benefit, and therefore there's no need to go back. Why would you want to go back? There's
Hmm.
nothing to go back to.
Hmm. 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 Absolutely. That's quite important. And
Mm.
you naturally fall asleep, and then I mean, again, I just need to mention this. Sarah had to really sacrifice this time for me today because yeah, I said just please. I initially said 8 o'clock. She's like, no way, 8 o'clock is my next time. If we start 8, that means we finish 9 before she said to.
Mm.
No way. So I had to bring the time. I know I'm learning as well in terms of, like I said, even my body, I kind of look. You know what? It's quarter past, and I'm thinking I have a couple more questions, and I'm thinking I also
Yeah,
wanted you.
go ahead.
I wanted you to talk about your story, actually, maybe
Go
because
on.
you've
Go
mentioned
on.
about a few health challenges that you've had. And I
Hmm.
think I put it at this post that, I'd like you, I mean, even if it's one of them that you want to kind of talk about, and then maybe
Yeah.
another time, if you're willing to come again, we can
Yeah.
talk about the other one and then talk about other things as well.
Okay.
Because I don't want us to go beyond your sleep time. So honestly, I know we're doing this till 8 o'clock, but maybe we can finish 2 minutes to 8, thereabouts,
That's
whatever,
okay.
so that
That's okay.
we're very prompt. So I'd
Yeah.
like you to maybe start your story because we don't know how long that will. I'd leave the other little questions to later
Okay.
on the time. So
So
you've had issues. You've talked about ovaries being removed. I mean, for goodness sake, you're only 44.
I
Why
know.
to remove your ovaries?
I know. Okay, so I started as a child with asthma. I had
Hmm.
asthma made it difficult for me to do any form of physical exercise because once I do anything strenuous, I'll be out of breath. And this is talking from when I was in secondary school. Now, back then, inhalers were very expensive.
Hmm.
So I was either stuck with a syrup, a Ventolin syrup, or a tablet, a salbutamol tablet. Now, anytime this asthma starts and I do not have that inhaler, I cry because I know I am going to suffer for at least 2 to 3 days before I get relief from the syrup I'm taking and from the tablet. They don't work as fast as the inhaler. That inhaler relieves me quicker.
Auntie,
Now,
almost.
I had asthma, and then as a teenager, as time went on, I had eczema, very serious eczema. Like I don't know, maybe I should call it psoriasis. He
Hmm.
was so bad. He came from nowhere. I had no idea what was going on. What didn't I drink? They gave me engine oil with lemon to drink. They
Oh,
gave me all kinds of concoction. There was nothing I did not drink because I was so desperate. I was a young girl. And
hmm.
imagine me just having to have these rashes literally covered my body. I'm telling you, up to my face. I used to cry.
Hmm.
I went on to, luckily for me, I was able to get some steroid cream. I started to mix this steroid cream in my body cream
Body.
because anytime I stop it, I notice this thing comes up again. So I ended up staying on it for a long time. Now, I suspect this is also part of the reason why I may be experiencing arthritis now because long term use of steroid cream can cause your bone to, it can affect your bone density. I
Hmm.
went on until I came to this country. I started experiencing this excruciating pain. Like it will come from some nowhere, it will be so bad. And then after some time, it will subside. One day, that
Hmm.
pain was not going away.
Where was the pain?
Pain- That pain in my lower abdomen.
Oh my goodness.
That pain was so bad. I kid you not, I could not even get dressed to get down the stairs. The ambulance was downstairs waiting for me. I had difficulty coming down the stairs. That's how bad that pain was. And that's how they
Oh.
gathered me like a cloth to the
Hmm.
hospital. And unfortunately, that they told me they had to take the ovary out and
Oh
they
my
took the
goodness.
ovary out. Now, this is a single girl who hadn't even gotten married at the time.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then this is PCO. These are all symptoms of PCOS. And where
Yeah.
does PCOS come from? Insulin, too much sugar. This is all the steps that people who are going to end up diabetic take. If you
Hmm.
watch them, watch anybody who's experienced PCOS or any form of what do you call it, skin issues, any
Hmm.
kind of even asthmatic people who have asthma usually have this skin problem, and
Hmm.
I suspect that it also has something to do with the gut.
Hmm.
Anyway, I had it taken out. I got married. It took me a few months, almost a year, to get pregnant. And I had my son. What did I know? Cerelac. Cerelac. Cerelac was all I knew. I wasn't really producing enough milk from when he was born. So I managed to breastfeed for about 3 months, I think. This it was really hard for me. It was so painful. I struggled to breastfeed. And plus the fact that I wasn't really producing enough milk, it was difficult for me. But anyway, I started to use formula. Go and look at those formulas. The level of sugar in that thing,
Mm-hmm.
if I had known what I was doing, I would have tried harder with breastfeeding. I would have made more effort with breastfeeding. It's the best thing you can do for your baby. It really is. Because those formulas are full of sugar. What are you really feeding this child? Their brain needs to be nourished with good fat. Brain needs to be nourished, and they get that good fat from breast milk, from the food that you eat. So you as a mom, bearing in mind, you see, I've had eczema, I've had asthma, I've had PCOS. That already should be telling me that something is wrong with my body. Something could be wrong with my bone. I shouldn't even go carrying pregnancy without healing my body, because it means that my body is not ready, right? My body is not ready. Now, I had my first son, I fed him all of this crappy food that I've just mentioned. If I look at my son's picture when he was a baby, I see a child that was deficient in a lot of things. I know. I know when I look at him. But anyway, I started trying to have a second child, 3 miscarriages in between. Why? My body was not ready, but I kept trying. I kept trying. I kept trying. I finally got pregnant again. Had my second son. My second son looked much more. He looked more healthier than my first son was, because at that point I was beginning to become a bit more health conscious. And I went on to raising him with better food gradually. I then, after I gave birth to my son and I lost my mom, I had my son in 2015. My mom passed away in 2015. So you see, I'd already started keto in 2016 before my mom passed. After my mom passed, I started losing my hair. I started having bald patch. I have one, but I think
I think it's to do with the keto, I think. Because
yes,
your mom also was doing keto and then she had that as well.
you become nutrient deficient as you do that keto, especially if you're not cycling in and out of it.
Out
Keto
of
is
it.
good. Like, I
Just
always encourage people to try it,
occasional.
but do not approach it if you're obese and your body is not nourished. An obese body is a nutrient deficient body. You don't want to add nutrient deficiency to it by
See,
doing
thank
keto.
you. Tell
You're
them.
even eating less. You're eating less. See, people who work with me probably eat more than they've ever eaten. I am not an advocate of starvation. I am in support of eating enough to nourish those bacteria. We have millions of those bacteria in our stomach. They need to be fed. If you don't feed them well, you'll be sick.
Absolutely. I mean, you mentioned about this Cerelac earlier. You know, what people don't realize, there's so much sugar in everything. Every food that you don't expect sugar, there is sugar. Even all the ones for adult, which is why fast food, all this takeaway food is bad for us. Cook your own food. And our African food, we will do our millet, sorghum, all these things together, without putting sugar, put some peanuts, whatever, depending on, just to balance the nutrients. They're actually better than our all this custard, Cerelac, da, 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 da. They said they're meant for food. There was a documentary
Nothing.
years ago.
Where is the fat to nourish the child's brain? Where is it? Where is it?
Too much sugar. Too much
There
sugar.
is none. There is none. These children go on to have the same issues that we had, just like our parents had these issues. If your parents had these issues and you're eating the same way your parents ate, you're going to end up the same way.
Absolutely. You can't do the same thing and expect a different result.
No,
We want
it's
to change it,
madness.
act, and do it right now, like you rightly said. I realize we've got 6 minutes left, and I just want to to round up very
Okay.
well.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you any more questions, otherwise we will run out of time. I just wanted to say that if you are still there, if you watch this later or whatever, just please drop in, say, hashtag replay, or if you're watching live now, just drop hashtag live. And if you have questions, please drop them here, because we would like to respond to your questions and later. And thank you. Sarah had shared her story and about all the. I'm going to ask her for a lasting word in a moment about what's her lasting word, what are the tips, and how people can, to begin to take action right now. But before we do that, because I don't want us to forget while we're on live, do you want to drop your social media handles, Sarah? I don't know whether you have it there, just to put in the comments. Where
I can't see the comment.
Oh, you can't see. Okay, let me see if I can
I
actually.
sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can paste them. Yeah, let me find it. Okay, here it is. Um. Oh, actually, let me. No, I should have said. Here's Sarah's YouTube channel. Here's Sarah's. Oh dear. Sorry, I'm trying to. No, I was. I should have done that before here. Anyway, yes, Sarah's YouTube channel. Da, 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 da. Yeah. So you can follow Sarah on all the social media if you really want to eat to heal. If you really want, she's got a WhatsApp group. She's got a program. Are you got one program coming up soon, or you've got one that you're doing right
Yes,
now?
I am every week I coach I do a free masterclass for everyone where I share some of the things that I have experienced and some of the things that they can start doing. I do it every Saturday at 6 p.m. and it's a free WhatsApp group where you just see how I talk to people. I say I serenade people into good health somehow. I People always compliment my voice and how calm it is and how well they're able to receive me, and so that's what you're going to be getting. So it's free. It will be good for you to attend if you go to my Facebook page. I usually post the link for the next week masterclass. I've just created one now and I'll share it tomorrow. So you can join me there and just see if I'll be a good fit for you before you even decide to join the private one. So yeah, that's how I work.
Fantastic, fantastic. You've heard it from her. She's got a weekly masterclass, because like again, for some people, they just need somebody at the end of the phone. Somebody they
Yes,
can talk to, they can ask questions,
yes,
because some people they really know what to do, but they
yes,
just need support and encouragement. And some
yes.
people don't think they know what to do, but they actually don't know, because what they think they know is not right. There's
No,
misconceptions, there are myths, and people really need to do what is right. They need the correct guidance and information. So if you think Sarah will be of help, you've had her eloquently talked about her story, she's shared her story, she's advised on how we need to sleep, eat, and keep moving, because those are kind of the three core of healthy life. Really, those are the starting points, and so you really need to do that. So I've shared all her social media links on the page. If you have more questions, you can ask. She'll answer you there. If it's for me, I'll answer you there. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today. It's really informative. It's really great. I think we didn't dig deep because we talked, talk, but it's quite important, because I think it's important for people to get a brief of all that they need to do and how to improve. And I hope
yes,
that another time we will be able to share in detail about some other things, and how people can begin to take action for their, or responsibility for their health. So I
yes.
don't know whether you have a lasting word that you want to say. We've got 1 minute to 8. Anything, just a
Okay.
closing remark or anything you want to say to people before
Yes.
we part tonight, please.
Okay. I want everybody to know that their health is their physical pension. So, you know how we work to have pension in our old age? Your health will be your own physical pension. What you do today in your 30s, your 40s, it's what's going to serve you in your 60s and 70s if you're blessed to live that long. And on the other, another thing I want to mention is that you actually do not need any extra thing to help you feel well apart from these three things I mentioned. Your skin will glow, your nails will be strong, your hair will grow. I don't rub, I think I don't go buying anything for my skin. I use, if I tell you what I use shea butter. I use shea butter. And I am not wearing makeup. I am not wearing foundation or brown powder as I sit here. I have eye pencil and I have my red lipstick, and that's about it. That is how well you look. Your
I
eyes
use
will be white.
Vaseline for years. I use Vaseline
Yes.
for
You,
years.
your skin will glow, your hair will be strong and healthy, you'll be happy. Another way to know somebody who is well is somebody who is happy. The joy in you would show how happy your body is on the inside. You glow from the inside out. So yes, that's what I want to leave people with. And again, if you go to a doctor who constantly just gives you medication, it's time for you to find another doctor. You need somebody who's ready to sit on the floor with you and go through the root cause of your problem. Medication is good if it's an emergency, but there are other ways, I promise you.
Absolutely. That's key, addressing the root cause of obesity. On my program, I try to do the addressing first with people. I'm like, let's sit down, let's address, because this didn't start just overnight.
Mhm.
There is a series of activities or situations that led you here. If we don't address the roots, then we're just going to be going in cycles. You're going to repeat yourself. And so I try to do that for people. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's 1 minute past. Thank you so much for joining us. It's
you're welcome.
amazing time. I so much
I had
enjoyed
a
it.
good time.
I wish I
We
could
had
be
a
talking
good
with you every week. We can be having a weekly show for people.
Well, I couldn't. I wasn't sure how well I was going to sit up and get through it all, but I did. I did. I outdid myself. So I'm
Oh my
grateful for it. It
God.
was exciting. I was looking forward to it because I'd kept you waiting for so long. So
I
I
know.
wanted to do a good job of it.
I know it's been months since I've been asking Sarah, please, I want you because I see what she does all that. And I'm like, yeah, she's going to be a good one for my viewers and for
Yeah,
anybody who really wants to take responsibility for their health. So thank you so much. I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
that. I
Thank you
know
for having me.
has gone. And so thank you so much for everybody who is watching live and those who would watch later. I know there's few people. I don't know how many people in total, but there's several people watching in and out, in and out. People are busy, people are at maybe parties, people are at work and for whatever reasons. So when you watch later, I would look at your questions. And yeah, so it's a great day. Thank you so much. So bye everybody. See you on another next month for episode 9. I know I missed one episode, but hey, here we go. It's live. So until another time, bye bye.